If you miss the tax deadline, Javis Tax Service can help. There are certain circumstances that allow for a tax extension without additional fees. We can let you know if you qualify for this service. If you still need to file, we can get the paperwork in quickly and ensure that all fees or penalties are met. It's better to file late taxes than not file at all to avoid garnishments. Use Javis Tax Service to help get your taxes filed quickly and correctly. For more information to set up a free consultation, call Javis Tax Service at 803-851-7112. That's 851-7112.
Thanks so much for tuning in.
Yes, thank you all so much for tuning in.
Thank you as well.
Have imaginary coffee.
You had imaginary coffee?
I'm trying to.
Honey, you gotta get you some.
Some good old covers.
You were?
Oh yeah.
You were off today?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
It was like, you know, the traffic's gonna be there. I'm like, really? So
oh gosh, yeah. Hey, we could have did this earlier.
Yeah, I was off as well.
Oh, well, I was. Well,
It's all good. Yes.
My goodness.
What? I was running, like running since this morning.
I was relaxing.
Right. Taking advantage of this day, y'all.
Stop.
I'll probably be up until about midnight or so. And get some coffee when I'm back. I'm gonna knock this thing on out.
Complete absence.
Getting ready for school. Start on Wednesday.
Oh, you're a teacher?
Stop the silence.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Honey, I don't know nothing about that. My child is 20, about to be 21.
Yeah, and the mics aren't on either.
No, they're not.
I meant to say that.
I can't hear any things in the headphones either. Can you?
No.
This is amazing. So when did you publish?
2013.
Oh, sweet. Well, it's time for a new book.
Yes, I'm working on it. I have writer's block at the moment, but
there's no such thing as writer's block. Why do you keep saying that?
We don't hear anything. There's the mics.
Why do I say that?
Yeah, there's no such thing.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Okay, I can hear you.
So, did everybody get a good old look at the eclipse today?
Stop.
Yes. I did.
I did as well. I was so excited.
I was gonna go to Lake Murray, but
complete
I was like,
absence
because people was everywhere at like 10 a.m. I went to Harvesting Lake and it was completely open, perfect view.
Stop the silence.
Hello.
That was all synchronized. It was in alignment, just like the eclipse today. Come on,
Listen,
somebody.
Did you see my video from earlier today?
I seen so many videos.
I need you to look at mine.
Oh my goodness!
I'm just telling you right now that it's
Listen,
for your life.
Welcome to Stop the Silence, where we give a voice to your written words. I'm Ebony Dixon, the baby jumper, your host for this evening.
I'm Tamika Sims, the Ink Pen Diva, your co-host for this evening.
And we have a very, very special guest tonight.
Very special guest tonight.
We have Miss Tarsha Mirage in the house.
Whoop, whoop.
Hello, everyone. I hope all is well.
Everything's good. Listen, we want you to tell the people a little bit about yourself. Who have not heard of Tarsha Mirage? What can you tell them about yourself?
Okay. Well, where do I start? Tarsha Mirage. I am a mother first of 3 beautiful children, and I'm a proud. My son just graduated, so I'm real proud about that.
That's awesome.
What's your son's name?
Yay. Andre.
Congratulations,
Congrats, Andre.
Yes. And then I have Maya and Megan.
Hi, Maya. Hi, Megan.
And then I'm also a poet.
Awesome.
That go by the name of Miss Mirage. Author of Revelations of the Heart, and also a lupus awareness advocate. So I started a nonprofit called Mirage Community Outreach.
Oh, wonderful.
Wow, that's what's up.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you published the book, you told us off air in 2013. So what led you to writing this book?
It was, let's see. Well, I will start a project and never finish it.
Okay.
So
Welcome to the club that I used to be in.
That's right. We're coming out.
yes. So when I was introduced to and publisher by Miss Beverly Benjamin, I said, let me try to complete this project.
Right.
And I actually did complete it, and that was one goal, like I said, I completed and really excited about.
I know. Wasn't that like awesome after you started something and finished it? I mean, that is such an awesome feeling.
Yes, because it's real frustrating trying to do the book. Just I didn't realize so much editing just with colors alone and how it can turn back. But I never gave up, and the book is here.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think that that's key too. I think a lot of people have a desire to write a book, but for whatever reason, they don't finish it. You know, things get in the way, life gets in the way, or they may be experiencing some personal challenges, so they don't finish it. So I think, you know, when I meet someone that's actually published, like that's a huge accomplishment in and of itself. Right. Only because there's so many people that start and they never complete it. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
Right. Wow, you're a poet. That's where you and I met.
Yes, at Kiki's Chicken and Waffle.
That's it, boy. Open mic. Yes. So, have you been doing any open mics lately?
Not lately, but I plan to get back into the open mic shortly. I'm actually going to be a feature at Bless the Mic on September 14th.
Okay,
awesome.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Were you like taking a little break or something?
I've been having a lot of different flares with my being diagnosed with lupus, so just kind of relaxing, and now I'm gonna get back out there with Lord willing. I have the energy, so I said, let's do it.
That's right. Like now is the time.
Yes.
Wow. Can you tell us about your journey with the lupus?
Yes. I was diagnosed October 2004, and for a long time I was in denial about being diagnosed with lupus, but when I came out with Revelations of the Heart, I figured because I'm coming out expressing all my emotions about low self-esteem, depression, things to that nature, why not include being diagnosed with lupus?
Right.
And that is when I wanted to become a lupus advocate.
Wow. Awesome. Yeah, and I see you sharing your posts and your events and stuff. I see you out there doing that, and I think that's a wonderful thing that you're doing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So how did you come up with the title Revelations of the Heart?
I came up with that title because it was just releasing everything. And then I guess I was just coming into being released from everything and just giving it my revelation.
Wow. What do you mean by being released from everything?
Being released from low self-esteem, depression, suffering, going through different challenging relationships, and just learning and growing.
Okay. I would really like for you to expound on that process, because I think a lot of people find themselves stuck even when trying to write a book. What was your process? What was like the thing that went off in your head? It was like, hey, I need to be released from this. What was your process? Did you have people helping you? Like, what was that process like?
Well, my memory sometimes is not the best, but I'll give you what I can remember from it.
Okay, and you can give us that right after we hear this.
Okay.
Beginning.
That's awesome. Hey everybody. Hey Sierra. Hey Kwanje. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to share.
My new chapter is yet to begin.
I'm sorry.
Why are you looking at us?
I'm asleep with my eyes open, man.
Well, you need to stand up.
I might need to.
You can stand up for a minute while we're on break.
Try to help me.
You might need to stretch it out.
I don't think that's going to be good.
Hearing and seeing my beautiful children.
Listen, I love this t-shirt.
You like that?
You know, I'm a Marvel fan. I love all of this.
Okay.
I've watched all of it except for Ant-Man.
I forgave.
Is that out yet?
I don't think that was out like 3 years ago.
No.
Every bit of my heart.
No.
It was.
My voice. It carried harmonious.
Why isn't that
my
on
little
Netflix?
7-year-old watched it in the
Ant-Man?
movies. Yes.
The not the cartoon, but the
correct.
I wanted to say the opposite.
Yeah, that was out a couple of years ago. So here's the thing.
Me.
She's about why is it not on Netflix?
My mind stayed afloat.
Everything should be on Netflix.
That's true. That's true.
Absolutely. All the other Marvel characters are
But
on
Doctor
there.
Strange is not on Netflix.
I don't
I had
know
to watch
who's
that on
Doctor
Amazon
Strange.
Prime.
More than I did.
What?
I'm not like
You're not
in the Marvel gang,
Oh.
but if I'm strolling
You're
through
like
Netflix,
a little Superman or something.
No. I watched Luke
Like
Cage.
a little Iron Man.
Iron Man movies were pretty good. I loved when Hulk just kind of took that guy by his ankles and threw him.
I mean, I said Iron Man. She said Hulk. That's
But he
two
was
different
on
movies.
that. That was the ones with all of them on there. See,
Right.
I'm not a Marvel person. I mean, I like it.
it.
Listen, don't judge me.
And I won't. And that was Intro to My New Beginning by Miss Tarsha Mirage,
who is our special guest today. And before we went, listen, they were hating on me because I don't know all my Marvel kids. You were.
I wasn't hating. What I'm saying is you got to know that there's an Iron Man and there's a Hulk.
There is, but they were in the same movie together. But anyways,
not Iron Man.
Well, I thought it was.
We're going to get back to our guest.
Right before we went to break, before we played your poem, we were asking you, I was asking you about your process of like what made you be like, okay, I need to be released from this depression and this low self-esteem, and what was your process like?
Let's see. Well, I wanted something different. Mm-hmm. It's like when you just constantly go through the same thing, or you just feel like you're just going around in a circle. I figured if I released it, then maybe that would be a chance for me to grow and have something different. So I figured if I can touch at least one person and let them know that you're not alone going through like low self-esteem or depression or anything like that, then maybe they can also find their revelation and feel as if they can grow as well.
Right. Mm-hmm. Was writing this book a part of that process?
I believe so. In Revelations of the Heart, it's over 10 years of poems. Mm. So it's basically from like when my son was not really newborn, but maybe like 1 or 3 or something to that nature, up into the present. So about 2013.
Right. So you've been in therapy for about 10 years, writing down all of your releases in poetic form, so to speak. And so praying that helps somebody else who's reading it. Have you ever had anybody come up to you and be like, you know what, your book really has blessed me, it's really helped me see things or helped me in my process? Yes.
Some people that read it, they could say that they definitely related, and it helped them to want to change, right, or do something different. Because also in that book is encouraging thoughts of the day. So I figure while I'm also saying maybe something negative and turn it into encouragement, right, also leaving encouraging thoughts to just give you something to think about as well.
Got it. That's awesome. So I hear a lot of people say that I've had a story inside of me for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, or whatever. So what's your response to someone who says that I've had this story on the inside of me for so long, but now I've decided that it's time to release it? How do you encourage them? Like, do you think that time is a factor in publishing our books, or do you think we just release it when we're ready?
I probably would say, in my opinion, release it when you're ready. Because time, we have time every day, and we can choose to do what we decide with our time. Right. But if you're not ready to release that, then you kind of can fall back. So I really think it's just when you're ready to release it.
Yeah, that's cool. Because just like you said, you've been writing all those poems for the past 10 years, and then who knew that it was time in 2013 for you to release it then, you know? It's just the timing. I think that everybody that we're connected to, that we may not have met yet, when we put our poems out, when we put our songs out, when we put our books out, that meets the person that we're connected to right where they are, no matter where it is. And even though we may not ever get a chance to meet them and they be like, hey, this is how this impacted me, we just have to know that what we're doing is not in vain.
Yes, absolutely. I agree.
So who decides that it's time? You know what I mean? Like, what happens in your life or inside of a person that decides that now is the time?
Well, for me, I've always been like a behind the scenes type of person, real quiet and shy. Right. So I don't feel as if it was me. I really felt as if God probably set that journey up for me to do that. And then it was my choice to either go along with his path or go along with my path.
Got it.
That was beautifully and correct the way you put that.
Yeah.
It's like we have choices and we got to choose which way we going to go.
And we got to be sensitive to, I think, the leading of God in our lives.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, that's in the whole alignment, right?
Come on,
this whole
Eclipse.
theme of the day
Eclipse.
Yes.
is that everything needs to be in alignment for it to really be just so. And that's probably the case in the context of books, I would imagine, is that you know, when everything lines up, when life is being kind to us or whatever the case may be, and then now everything just sort of gets in sync, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And when we release it, it just all works smoothly as it should be.
Agree.
Because I think the danger with that is that if you release something before it's time, then we run into other issues.
Right.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I also believe that sometimes if we do it early and it's not in God's plan, then everything may not be set up for that person or, you know, for that step that you may need.
Right. That's a good point.
Absolutely.
Well, that leads me into tonight's writing tips.
Okay.
Okay.
Give them to us.
Tonight we're talking Ebonics
Hey, I like
versus
Ebonics.
Black voice.
Wait up. You better break it down, sister. Pay attention,
Right?
people.
Pay attention, people, because we do this in our writing, and I cringe when I have to read it in books, and I always correct it. My clients are like, me. But I'm like, listen, so there's a reason. All right, so you're ready for this? So
No. I'm not sure.
well, get ready for this. So the thing about Ebonics is that you'll find that's a language that's understood predominantly by African Americans. But the problem with that is that's fine when you and I are engaged in conversation.
Right.
But if I'm reading your book, I may not always be able to keep up with what it is that you're saying.
Right.
Right? Because sometimes with Ebonics, it's too much slang.
Right.
Right. And so there's nothing wrong with using some slang in your book if it makes sense for your audience, but you don't want the entire book to be filled with that because you'll lose your reader. And at the end of the day,
They need a dictionary to understand what you're saying.
and at the end of the day, you know, it's really about providing your reader with an enjoyable experience. And if they got to spend time digging and searching, trying to figure out what you mean, that you're really defeating the purpose. So here's a way that you can combat that. So if I'm reading a book and you want to use an Ebonics term, the way to separate that from me is to put it in quotation marks,
Okay.
your air
Okay.
quotes, right? When I'm writing the book, right, the way to do that is to make sure that you're using sort of the standard English voice, because at the end of the day, your goal is to reach thousands of people and enter into thousands of hearts,
Right.
not just the African American community or not just a sector of the African American community, unless that's your audience and unless they understand that voice coming from you. Otherwise, you're going to lose people.
Right.
So here's some other tips. So don't use text language. You guys know what I mean by that? No LOLs, no SMHs. You know what I'm saying?
LOL is pretty universal.
No.
I think I use that one.
LOL is very universal when you're
Right.
speaking.
Okay.
Okay.
Or, you know, if you're commenting on an Instagram post or a Facebook post or something like that, you're like, LOL.
You said keep it with social media.
I mean, I'm saying, you know, I guess. Keep it to social media. And then make sure that you try to use words that everybody is familiar with. Because at the end of the day, you know, what if an Indian American picked up your book and they can't understand the Ebonics or can't relate to the slang? You've already lost that person before they've gotten an opportunity to really dig into the text. So be very mindful authors and aspiring authors and those that really want to bring themselves to their books. Make sure that you are writing and communicating in a language that everyone can understand, and be mindful of your slang and your Ebonics and your text language.
I agree with that.
Do you agree with that?
I do. Because sometimes I'm around some people and it's like, dude, you're doing too much.
And the other thing is that people will start speaking it.
Yeah.
They'd be like, LOL. I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Like, use your words.
Yeah. Be like LOLIKR. You know, I'm like, okay.
See, that's too much. You
Yeah.
gotta sit there and try to figure it out.
More time.
You don't want to do Ebonics versus Black voice. Ebonics
Okay.
versus Black voice.
Keep that in mind as we're writing our next few books, huh?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, unless it's urban literature or street literature, or, you know,
It should
something
fit
like that.
the context.
It should fit the context,
Right.
And it should fit your audience.
Right.
But we try to not do that. We wanted to fit everything we do.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Wow. So along with your book, Revelations of the Heart, that's just something to chew on. Chew on that later, because I know some of y'all is doing that right now.
Oh, yeah.
See what I just did? Some of y'all is doing that right now. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That was an example.
Yeah.
I.E.
Shaking my head.
Along with the Revelations of the Heart, do you ever think about doing a CD, like doing some recorded poetry, like a whole CD? I know you we played one of your poems earlier, but do you think about doing like a whole CD?
I have thought about that. I have my son. He is into audio engineering, so he's supposed to be creating some poems for me.
Awesome.
From the book, and also creating beats. So
awesome.
That's gonna be cool
to see how it's gonna turn out.
I can't really remember when you were doing your poetry at open mic. Were you doing it with the music, or did they didn't?
No.
So that's gonna be something new for you then.
Yes, it's definitely gonna branch out. I can't wait to see how it's gonna be.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool. For you to step out of your box and try something new. Yeah. Because I know one thing Tamika always says that this is just a seed,
Honey,
you can have a CD, you could do conferences, workshops, go speak. I mean, there's just so many things you can do with your book. And I'm looking forward to you doing something like that. That's awesome.
And then I think the recording process will be a different creative process for you, right? And
Yeah.
you never know kind of what's going to be birthed or what will come of that. So I think that's great that you're open to really expanding beyond just the physical product.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Because I'll tell you, for me as a spoken word artist, before I started doing Kiki's, I didn't use a live band. Like I used to just do the poetry without the music, and then I started doing some tracks. But when I got the live band, it was like, oh,
yeah, it's nice.
It opens up like creativity in you, and then you gotta have it because it's just giving you that, just like And when I walked into the room, and it just makes you want to inflect your voices in different ways that you don't really do that when you're just doing the poetry by itself. So I'm just looking forward to this blossoming in you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, you seem a little nervous.
Yeah, I'm usually always nervous about something that stepping out of that comfort zone.
Yeah.
But once I'm there, I'm like, oh wow. Yeah. Why didn't I do this in the beginning? But
timing.
It wasn't. Timing.
Alignment.
Come on, Eclipse.
There you go.
I just got to keep saying that.
Me too.
That is like the word of the day, the
Eclipse.
word of the season.
Right. Yes.
Like,
that is definitely a seasonal word.
In alignment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And you can't miss it. So anyway, we're going to keep going.
So tell us about Mirage. What made you come up with that name?
Well, I started off with the name Oasis.
Okay.
And then one of my coworkers, she kept saying Mirage, and I wasn't for sure, but I really like the name because I thought about it because I like to deliver encouragement, love, and inspiration.
Yeah.
And my poems are short, so I figured I'm like a brief moment of delivering a poem with encouragement, so I can go with Mirage.
Okay. Cool.
That's kind of cool. Almost like it's short enough to where it's almost like an illusion. That's what I think about when I think of Mirage. But you make it real for the people when they get an opportunity to see and hear you. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. And I don't know if I would like the name Oasis either. Well, I'm gonna see the poet.
I'm like, they're like synonyms, aren't they? Like Oasis and Mirage, they kind of mean the same thing. No, they don't. Oh, well, why don't y'all break down what Oasis and Mirage mean, then?
So in today's dictionary lesson, I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that.
Well, I always thought that, but I'll look it up for myself.
God bless you. So what's it like being, I know I'm connected to a lot of individuals that have been diagnosed with lupus, and I, can kind of from their experience empathize with some of the challenges that you experience. But how do you bring that into your work, in the work that you do with your nonprofit, in your literary work, in your poetry? How do you bring that in there?
And we'll bring that back in just a moment. Stop the silence.
Oh, I like when you put that in there.
You like that? This is what I do.
Oh, goodness. Chanel.
Hey, Chanel. I haven't seen Chanel, oh my gosh, since you were doing...
Oh, I meant to tell him something, but I forgot.
It's all good.
Doesn't matter now.
Big stage.
Bright
lights.
Yeah.
Action.
So this is awesome.
Big booty.
So this is going to be the last
She shakes it fast for him just the way he
segment.
likes, and erection shows
Okay.
over fade to black.
So we'll talk a
Ideal
little bit about what she says,
Waiting
what she
for an
asked you,
oven
and then
time
when we
and a
come in
sound
the
in a
end,
room full of
we'll
microwaves
talk about
amidst this microwave
how
generation.
people can get in
We're
touch with
not
you and
now,
things of
but
that
right
nature.
now
Okay.
is the standard. And nobody's raising the standard where sexual freedom is the anthem. We sing it loud. Put your hands up as we shamelessly justify our sin with bold
You
proclamations.
get an opportunity
of how
to do
we're
a lot of
built with such
interviews?
emotion as we float on cloud.
Not really.
Okay.
19,
Well, you got to definitely
9.
position yourself to get
That was the
more.
number of times we exchanged our vows of
They can
love
get
as
more
if
so people
love
can
was the
hear your story. I
justification for
think,
killing a little
you
bit more
know,
of the God inside each
like
other
Ebony
every
said, I don't
time we
really
would lie
believe
inside
that we
each
should
other.
just stop at just
But Holy
writing and
Spirit
publishing the
has
book.
an
Like there's so
annoying way
much
of
more
not keeping
that we
silent
can
despite
accomplish
our
as a
efforts
result
to
of
shush
that.
him.
You know what I'm saying?
Why do I
So
test him? Better yet, test myself.
I
All
was
of the
really
sins
happy
are
I was able to
outside
put on the
myself, but this
luncheon
right
every
here
year.
has me
Yeah.
throwing hand
Yeah.
grenades at my
Yeah.
own house.
have
Better
you
yet,
ever
his
thought about
house
doing
every
an
Sunday
anthology
morning.
for
We
lupus,
have come
folks that have been
into
diagnosed
his
with lupus?
house together in
We should think
his
about that.
Do you know what an anthology is?
Is that like
who were we
with a different doctor?
worshiping last night?
No, so it's like a compilation of stories. So it would be you and however many other authors you choose to be a part of this book project.
Oh, okay.
So, and when you're doing your luncheon, you may be able to do a book signing there. So the people who actually contributed to the book, a chapter or whatever, could be there. You all guys could sign it. It could be a fundraiser for your nonprofit if you choose. But I think that's something also to be considered, because I'm just about people telling their stories and what their experience has been like. So yeah, that's something maybe you should think about. My suggestion. Now, you know, I'm a big picture thinker, so I like to see the whole thing through.
And I don't know what your circle is like, but I do feel like it's time for you to get with the big picture. You know, practice getting out of your comfort zone, because I believe you have a lot to say, and I'm sure that you have a lot of passion towards lupus, and you should have just that much passion towards what you're doing, and maybe find a way, you know, to align them, to eclipse them.
Right.
Alignment.
Yeah.
Right.
Alignment.
See, I got in the microphone. They're not hearing me on the podcast.
No.
Right.
We take from tree willingly.
Because I'm sure that
Y'all are hearing me.
Revelations of the Heart is. Do you ever get an opportunity to read at any of the lupus events?
I do a poem that's not in there. But and then sometimes when I do go open mic, if I can't remember a poem,
Miss Martha.
I'll read a book.
You should start reading your book there. I'm sure you have something in here that's encouraging, even if it's just a thought of the day, and let people know. I don't know if you have any books with you or if you ever set up a table, but just to let people know that, you know, they can take that home with them. That's just another way
of getting out there.
Yeah.
You do Facebook?
I do.
Okay, good.
Facebook, Instagram, not really Twitter.
Yeah, I don't really be on Twitter.
I be killing Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, you do.
Those are my platforms.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely a platform.
Those are my platforms too.
But you got to use what you have, you know what I'm saying? And there are just a lot of things that are available to you.
That's free.
That's free
Yes.
that you could use.
I hear that. Baby jumper.
I feel like that was something other than what it was.
And that's Camden?
Yeah. Oh, man.
Okay, you gotta tell me the question one more time? Or you gonna repeat it?
Something about the nonprofit. And
How do you bring
Align it.
And that was Camden Webb, Romans 12:1. So before we went to commercial break, we were talking about how you can bring in your experience as a lupus survivor into your work. I shouldn't say survivor, as someone that's been diagnosed with lupus into your work, your creative process, your nonprofit, etc.
Okay. Well, what I do is I started writing poems. I created a poem called My Story Poetically that shares about lupus, and also because some people really don't know what lupus is. So in this poem, I give the definition of what lupus is and how you can find out more information. Because I figure while I'm on the mic, why not let my voice be heard?
exactly.
Absolutely.
And let other people know what it is.
Right.
So for those of us who don't know, who are listening, or for our audience, Can you tell us what lupus is?
Yes, it's an autoimmune condition, and it can affect different parts of your body, like your hair, your joints, your organs, and etc. And usually what I tell people to do is, for more information, is visit www.lupus.org, because they give you a breakdown and let you know like what the studies is and the statistics, because it mainly affects African American women.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So this is not something that you're born with?
No.
So it just happens.
Yeah. There is the neonatal. Some people could be born with it, but it mainly just happen around a certain age.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I don't really know much about lupus, but
me either.
Just from people that I've been connected to with the diagnosis. So yeah.
How does this tie into your nonprofit?
It ties into it because I held a lupus awareness luncheon every third Saturday in August. It's a week after my birthday.
Okay.
So what I do is, it's a way of celebrating my life, because I didn't think I would make it to 30.
Bless the Lord.
But now I am here blessed to see 36.
Amen.
So amen. Thank you, Jesus.
All right.
So what I do is I have a luncheon, bring out lupus warriors, I call them, and also for the last couple of years we had doctors, but this year we brought it from a different standpoint, and we had Mrs. Jermaine Middleton Raspberry bring it from a mental health standpoint.
Okay.
So that it was really good, because I'm noticing a lot of people are starting to experience depression, anxiety, and some also suicidal thoughts because of the pain. So my goal is, if I can at least touch one person and help them and encourage them to keep fighting and never give up, then I've done my job.
That's what's up. Tell us the name of your nonprofit again.
It's called Mirage Community Outreach, and we just bring a message of encouragement, love, and inspiration. Like, that's just my ultimate goal on everything.
That's it.
That's all.
Purpose-driven life. How can people get in touch with you? Say they wanted you to come speak at something, or read your poetry, or talk about lupus. How can people get in touch with you?
Okay. Well, I'm on Facebook as Tarsha Mirage Bowman. I also have a Facebook page called Miss Mirage, and I'm on Instagram, Miss Mirage 81. And you can also email me at missmirage81@yahoo.com.
Okay.
That's awesome.
What do you have coming up in the near future?
Near future, I'm going to be on Bless the Mic. It's a Purple Affair, and we're going to raise lupus awareness. So there I'm going to do poems talking about lupus and also overcoming low self-esteem and depression.
That's awesome.
And we just ask everyone to please wear purple to support lupus awareness.
And where is that going to be held at?
It's going to be held at Sensations. Open mic list start at 8, and we start at 9 o'clock.
Okay, and that's here in Columbia.
Yes.
That is
How
so
often
cool.
do you do events? I know we're about out of time, but how often do you do events?
So far I have the luncheon just once a year, and I'm looking to do more things, but at the moment, if anyone asks me to feature or speak, I'm definitely willing to do that. But right now we're just doing the luncheon.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Cool.
You guys make sure you book her and send her an email.
That's right.
missmirage81@yahoo.com.
That's right. Mirage Community Outreach is the nonprofit. Please get in touch with her if you have any more questions. Thank you, Mirage, for being our guest today. Looking forward to watching you bloom even more.
Thank you so much for having me, and I love the keyword alignment.
Yes, eclipse.
Honey, alignment is just, oh my gosh, I've done 2 videos about that word alone. Somebody stop me.
We're going to stop her now. Thank you all for tuning in.
Thank you.
YouTube, Facebook, Periscope.
Thank you guys so
Thank
much.
you again. And we'll see y'all next time.
Next time.
Bye.
Bye. My aunt is like, late, had an appointment. You better explain why you ain't been on this podcast.